What's up, everybody? It's Nathan Payne.
What's up, guys? It's Corey Roysum.
And today we're going to bring you a video on how to spot motivated sellers, the top ways to spot motivated sellers, and what questions to ask to find out if you have an opportunity for a wholesale deal.
This video is brought to you by investorthrive.com. Go on there, visit our site. We got a bunch of free courses, free content on there. Check it out. We're growing out a mentorship program to help people learn how to wholesale. So go check it out.
Yeah, and also don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon on this video. Share it. Let's get this content out there and help as many people as we can. So stay tuned for the video.
Go to investorthrive.com right now to check out some of our free training on how you can make money as a real estate investor, or schedule a time with me so we can chat about our mastermind mentorship and how we can help you learn how to wholesale nationwide and grow your business.
Hey, so in this video, we want to tell you the top ways to find out if you're talking to someone that's motivated or not, and how to spot a motivated seller. So the first thing I ask when I get on the phone, after I set the stage and I ask them, hey, is it okay if I ask you some questions? And they say yes. I go in and I say, hey, so what's got you thinking about selling this property? And you can word it any way you want, but really you're just finding out, why are they selling? And you can even say, hey, sir, I'm looking at the property online now. Why are you selling? What's got you motivated in selling? What's the reason to sell the house? Whatever you want, ask why they're selling.
And asking why kind of sets up the groundwork for you to dive deep and to really think of it as peeling back an onion, right? You want to get to the center of the onion, you peel off, you ask why, why is that important to you? Mm-hmm. And that really helps you dive deep and really get to the core of the issue that's causing that motivation, which will build rapport, and it'll really help you work out a deal with the sellers.
Exactly, and you can go as deep as you want with this. You can dive deeper. Well, okay, tell me more about that. I mean, it's just a why question like this can last maybe 10, 15 minutes. That alone. So that's the first question you want to ask, in my opinion.
So the next question you want to ask after asking why is, when do you want to sell? You really want to dive into their timeline. Mm-hmm. How soon do they want to sell? Is it something that's immediate and urgent that they need to solve right now? Or is time not an issue? They can sell whenever, or they want to sell in the future. But you want to uncover timeline. Timeline is a huge indicator.
Right.
If they need to sell ASAP, you got a really motivated seller on your hands.
Right. And by the way, it doesn't always have to be their timeline, when they want to move out, right? Because I talked to a seller today who said, I want to move out in 3 months. So that automatically is not that soon. But I said, when are you looking to make a decision on who you go with? Would you sign paperwork today? He's like, I'll sign today. I want to get that decision done today. So don't forget, when you ask timeline, it's kind of a twofold thing. When do you want to move out? And also, when are you ready to make this decision on who you sell to, me or anyone else? So don't forget those are kind of go hand in hand with timeline.
Yeah.
So the third question I like to ask, and it's not always in sales scripts and in what people teach in this process, but I like to ask, what options have you explored up to this point to sell your home? And that's mainly to see, maybe they've done some due diligence on their own, so I can kind of further understand their situation. And they're like, well, what do you mean? What options have I explored? So I'm like, well, have you already talked to some agents? Have you thought about selling this yourself? Or is it only a cash offer you're interested in? And then they give you a lot of information at that point where they're like, I've already talked to agents. I've ruled that out. I don't want to sell by myself. I need to sell quickly. I want a cash offer. So it's like, okay, I just found someone really motivated by just asking them what options they've explored. So I always ask, what options have you explored at this point in selling your home?
Yeah, it kind of helps you uncover, like you said, if they are set on a cash offer, or if it's maybe they've already looked at a realtor and that's not a good option for them. That lets you know that the cash offer is the best option for them. It's typically because they're more motivated, and you can dig into why the cash offer is the best option for them. So really, in each of these, timeline, why they're selling, and in the options, you can really kind of dive deep and find out why to uncover the true motivation.
That's right.
So the fourth question you want to ask is about condition. So property condition is not necessarily like a sign of motivation. Just because you have a bad property doesn't mean that you have an urgent need to sell. But typically the good thing about property motivation or property condition is that if it's bad enough, a cash offer is the only way for them to sell.
That's right.
So if you uncover property condition and it needs work, it hasn't been updated in a while, those types of things, it's a good indicator that whether they want to take a cash offer now, they're going to have to take a cash offer at some point.
That's right.
Because it's hard to go get a bank loan.
Yeah, so, and just to go off of what he said, when I talk to a seller, I don't find any motivation on their timeline, any motivation on their reason, and they're just being kind of stone cold with me. They did not give me a lot of information. I'll still take the call to condition just to see if that's there. And if I hear no motivation on any of those other questions, options, and all that stuff, but their house sucks, I think that's an opportunity too, because I say, hey, eventually they will have to work with someone like me, or most likely. So condition's important. So the next question and the last question I ask, after asking all these questions, is the price. Now, price is not always going to work, because most people asking that question, what price you want to get a lower number, so most people, whether they're in a distressed situation or they need to move quickly, they're going to want what Zillow says or what they feel like the property's worth. So don't always take the price as being the motivating factor, but if they give you a price that's below retail, I'd say then yes, you have someone that's someone really motivated. But again, don't let that shake you. If someone that has a crappy house, that has a bit motivated situation, wants retail, of course I want retail every time. Yeah. So price, if it's lower than retail and they're on the same, if they're realistic, then great. And by the way, it doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah. So price is another one that's not a sign of motivation, right? Just because. The thing with price is you're trying to gauge where they're at, right? So, and if they're in the ballpark, that's when you're okay, we can work out a deal. So it's not necessarily a sign of motivation, but it's a sign that you can work out a deal.
There you go.
So to summarize, the main questions you want to ask are: why are they selling? When do they want to sell? What options have they considered? What is the property condition? And what price do you want? And if you cover those 5 things, you're going to uncover if they're motivated or not.
Yeah.
Some typical signs that we see of motivation are pre-foreclosure, if they're behind on their payments, if they inherited a house or a house is in probate, divorce,
bad tenants,
especially that's a huge thing right now in the market.
They need money quickly. We just had a seller that said, I'm going to lose my car. I need to sell this ASAP. So she needed that.
Yeah. So look for those distress signs. Those are some of the kind of common ones. And, look for those, dive deep into why they're selling, and, you'll have a lot of success working with sellers.
Right. And having sales process is important, but if you really just can cover those 5 questions in a call.
I mean, they don't have to be in a certain order or anything.
Right.
You want to just kind of cover those things. And
you want it to be fluid, right? I mean, scripts are great, but if you can just know
make it conversational. Make it natural.
If someone called me right now, I would know I need to cover at least these things on the phone call to know if I have an opportunity. So again, that's what you need to ask, and you can get deeper in all of them, but we just gave you the keys to how to find a motivated and spot a motivated seller.
So go out there, hop on the phone, start talking to sellers.
Get it done.